Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. If you are new, my name is Dakota. I make a ton of content here on this channel. I would really love it if you would subscribe. It is absolutely free. Join our Coda crew family. The vibes here are literally untouchable, immaculate. You already know if you are part of it, so go ahead and subscribe, like this video, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. I really do apologize for my lack of consistency here on this channel. I did just want to really quickly explain to you guys, I do have like a life update video coming out where I kind of explain that I have been going through a really rough time mentally. I've been very depressed. I feel like just the walls are caving in, if that makes sense. I've also been dealing with a lot on the side. I do share a lot with you guys here on the internet because at the end of the day, that's what got me a following, is sharing my story, and I always want to help as many people as I can and be there for you guys as much as possible. But there's some weeks where I need to be here for myself, and I'm always an advocate for filling up your own cup first. If I am not okay, I'm not a good content creator, I'm not a good daughter, I'm not a good mother, a friend, etc. So I really needed to take some time just to myself, getting myself back together. I feel a lot better.
Child. Anyway, so
today's video is going to be a little bit different. It is going to be a story time, don't get me wrong, but I'm actually going to be
talk normal,
reading my subscribers' stories. And when I tell you guys that I thought I had a tea-filled life, y'all, the stories y'all be sending me in, I'm looking at my phone like, no. I hope that for at least this portion of your day, I can kind of take you away from your reality and we can just have fun together. So go ahead and grab your wine, your snacks, whatever you need. You might want to grab a notepad as well. And let's spill this tea. I'm going to be doing 3 stories today. So enjoy, and let's get on with this Wine Wednesday, shall we?
It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky.
Okay, story time number 1. It's 2020 and I'm 19 at the time. The pandemic just hit. I just went through a terrible breakup, very depressed, can't figure out the purpose of life. This man that I've never met has been messaging me for the last few months. I never entertained it, and then one day I did. Girl, I've been there before. It's a mistake every time. He's claiming he has all this money, he's 29, no kids, owns a big ass house, so I'm excited, as you should be. I go over and he's talking about money, this company he's starting up, and all this other stuff I've never been around. Anyways, he gets me shit-faced, like I'm literally blacking out. I go over a few more times the next month or so. The more I'm around him, the more I'm getting this weird feeling, like his story is just not adding up. The last time that I'm over, I'm laying in his bed and a 3 or 4-year-old little girl comes running in the room crying for daddy. What?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Wait, hold the fuck up.
cut the cameras.
So not only did he say that he has no kids, not only did he like sell you a dream about how he got money, this and that, but you come over there and out of nowhere somebody bursts in the room. Like, where was the little girl the whole entire time? Like, I'm so confused about it. Did he give her an iPad and put her in the room and told her to stay over there? Like, I just don't understand. I need context. Let's keep reading. I sit up and I'm looking at him like, daddy? He said he had no kids. Well, he's not that daddy. He's that daddy. He's the kid's kind of daddy, not the other kind of daddy. I didn't give him the time to explain. I left early the next morning without saying anything and stopped answering his calls. Girl, you stayed the night? Wait, okay, I am so confused. So wait, so this little girl just runs in and she says daddy, and you're confused because he says that he don't have no kids, but you stayed the night over and then left the next morning and never asked questions? I would have had a whole entire FBI investigation out. Like, where did this child come from? Is it yours? Are you the father? Why did you not tell me that they were in your life? And most importantly, where the fuck has she been the whole entire time we've been here doing nasty? Very confused about it. A few weeks pass and I buy a pregnancy test. I'm feeling off. I take that bitch at work and it's positive. Girl, oh my, there's no way.
Nah, it's not funny. I've got school.
I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm 19, no kids, just moved out, have a brand new car. I tell him a couple weeks later and he's all nonchalant about it. I knew I didn't want to be with him whatsoever, but I decided to keep the baby anyway. Months pass and we're not really talking. I start doing some research and background checks. Y'all, I truthfully had no idea who this man actually was. I was 19, naive, and looking for escape from my own reality. Anyway, he's not 29, bitch, he's 40. single time, it's like the Titanic. Every single time you think it's gonna be like, okay, something happens. What? So not only did he lie to you about having kids, not only did he lie about his age, but now you're pregnant with his baby, and you thought he was 29, you were 19, but he's 40. He's 21 years old. Yo. We need to all take a go. Hold on. Bitch.
Oh my God.
Age is great, but he's older than my dad. Oh, what? My son's dad is older than his grandpa. I'm very much not okay. I was angry and felt like this grown-ass man took advantage of my situation and lied. He definitely did. And while I'm going through all of this, I'm fucking carjacked at 9 months pregnant. All my baby stuff is in there. Car seat, hospital bag, diaper, etc. They find the car, but it's totaled. I wish I was making this up. Fast forward, I have my son in 2021. Congratulations. I let everything go so my son could have a relationship with his father. It all goes smoothly. My son sees his dad and I no longer carry anger towards him. Whatever. Everything's good. Until I get a message request last month. It's saying, "Are you fucking my man?" We've all gotten messages like that before, and I swear to God, I'm 28, and to this day, if I got that message, my fucking stomach drops. It's like, either they're coming to you as a woman, or they're like, "Why are you with my man? When did this happen? We've been going together for like 5 years now. I have 5 kids with him." Girl, oh my God, this story? Y'all, it's my son's dad she's talking about. He's married and has 2 kids with her. What? So not only did he lie about his age, he was not 29, he was 40. Not only did he lie about having kids, and not only did he get you pregnant at 19, and not only were you carjacked, but he also is married and has 2 kids with this girl.
I'm gonna let God fix it, because if I fix it, I'm going to jail.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, help me. I'm sorry, but it's electric chair. It's electric chair or jail for me. Who the fuck is this man? Like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This is some Maury shit. I'm like, no, I'm not fucking your man, but we do have a son together. I tell her she can call me. I tell her the situation. She does, and she's hysterical. We haven't done anything since that night I left. So this man lied about his age, not having kids, not being married. Did I mention he's a felon too? Bitch, no you did not, but I'm not surprised. At this point, I'm waiting for you to tell me that this guy is like the Tinder swindler and got a whole different identity and is talking to 5 different bitches and they're giving him like $30,000 a month. Because if you could lie about that stuff, you could lie about crazy stuff. Like, what? Bitch, I'm shook. I'm shook. I'm fucking shook. There's no way. I feel like I'm literally watching an episode of Jane the Virgin right now, but like 10 times more tea written. To be continued. I figured it's not my life and I prefer my peace. I've talked to her. She seems like a good, genuine person, and we're talking about getting the kids together. Still on good terms with my son's dad too, because again, he's not my family, and when my son's old enough to understand, nobody can say that I didn't try. I've put in all my effort to make sure he has a relationship with his father. Thanks for listening. Love your channel. Girl, first of all, I give you the utmost props in the absolute fucking world, because to find out all of these lies, and it keeps getting worse, right? It's one thing if you lie about your age, right? Say you're like 19 and you want someone to not think that you're like a baby, so you say like you're 21 or something like that. Okay, like 2 years, not saying it's cool, but 2 years, give or take, cool. To say you're 29 and to be 40, to say you have no kids, say I make all this money, I have my own business, here's my house, and you're thinking like, oh my God, I'm lit. I've never been with someone established. I've never been with somebody who has money before. I've never been with somebody who's like an established man, right? Because a lot of times when we get with men, they're like so not independent. Like they're so dependent and codependent, or they're still living with their mom or something like that, right? But this guy was like, oh my God, like this is something completely new I've never seen before, and he's a little bit older than me. Well, he was a lot older than me. He was 10 years, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like I could do this. And then all of a sudden a little girl comes running in being like, "Daddy," and then you find out you're pregnant, and then your car gets jacked. You lose all your baby stuff. The car is totaled. You have your son, and you decide, okay, you know what, past is the past. Let's be with, you know, let's at least have him have a relationship with his son. But then you get some random message being like, "Are you fucking my man?" And it turns out to be his wife. His wife. It turns out to be his wife, who he has 2 kids with, and he never mentioned that. And my thing is like, okay, if he had 2 kids with her that are 2 and 5, that means that in 2020, he had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, which means that he just basically had a kid with this girl, not even a year prior. So my thinking is like, were they married and living in the house together, and maybe his wife just worked like overnights, or maybe they were separated at the time, or maybe they were together in that house and he just had to come over when she wasn't there. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Men literally live double lives. Literally live double lives, and I don't understand how they keep that shit intact, because I can't even lie about what I had for dinner last night. And these men could literally have a whole separate family, a whole separate life. Hannah Montana, like literally Hannah Montana where? This is giving Hannah Montana. Honestly, here's the thing. At the end of the day, girl, this is not your problem. You were always upfront, you were always honest, and you were always real from the jump. He decided to have a double Hannah Montana life, to not only lie to you about his age, but lie about his situation, lie about his kids, etc. If a man lies about his kids, that is a clear indication right there that he cannot be trusted. And I know that you said you left there and didn't talk to him again, and like honestly, that is so amazing of you, because you probably did really like him. So to leave there and have to emotionally detach from the situation, I'm sure it took a lot out of you. But then you found out you were pregnant and you're like, well, fuck. And honestly, I have a similar story, because when I was with my daughter's father, I broke up with him because he was cheating on me, and then a week later I find out I was pregnant. And I'm just like, and same thing as you, girl. I was 19, I just got a new job, I was gonna go to school, I had plans to move out, I had my whole life plans ahead of me, and then I had this bomb dropped on me. And it was the same thing with me. Like, I tried to get my daughter's father to be in her life. It was never a no. I always made it convenient for him, always took time out of my day and my situation to make sure they could have a relationship. And then one day I was just like, yo, this is not my job. Like, I'm sorry, but I did not create this kid by myself. It takes 2 to tango. If you want to see her, you put in the effort, because I'm tired of doing this. And that eventually made him go away, because he didn't want to do it. And that's fine, because I'm here 9 years later thriving. But like, you literally, I commend you so much, because I've had to do that too, where it's like, you've done so much to me and I can't stand seeing your face literally, but like I have to, because we made a kid together. Yeah, after like all of the lying, the manipulation, the gaslighting, it's giving very much so narcissism. Like, honestly, girl, I really commend you for, after everything that you've been through in this story, being able to be like, you know what, I'm not going to let this penetrate into my parenting relationship, because at the end of the day, I want my son to grow up and look at me and be like, my mom tried. My mom did the damn thing. She tried very hard to not only get me to see my dad, but to get him to be a better person and a good father. So girl, honestly, at the end of the day, of course, this story had so much tea, it had so much in it, but like, I think this is a bigger message, in my opinion. I feel like this is a testimony to your strength as a woman, to be able to endure all of this and to come out on top still and be a bomb-ass mother, have your life together, a good person with a moral compass, and to have enough humanity to say, you know what, after everything that happened, you could have very well cut him off and been like, goodbye. No, you're so toxic. I don't want you in my life or my son's life. But you decided to put your feelings aside and your pride as a person, and instead put what's most important, which is, I at least want to give him the opportunity to be a dad. I at least want my son to have a relationship with him so we can try. And honestly, I think this is also a really big message that a lot of men who are older prey on younger girls. And it's not okay. It's not okay at all. It's actually insane to me. And a lot of them do that because they think we're naive and that they can mold and they can manipulate and maneuver us into doing what they want. And they will purposely prey on younger girls for that reason. So it's always important to just have your guard up, look out for little signs and signals. Like I said, at the end of the day, this is not your fault. This is a him issue. And at the end of the day, you got a beautiful blessing of a son out of it. So take that and just leave the rest. And I honestly wish you so much happiness and success going forward. And I hope that guy gets some therapy. He needs a therapist with a capital T, and I hope that he gets that help so that way he does not harm anybody else. And if his wife stays with him after all of this, just send her to my channel, because she needs to have a good stern talking to, because girl. But girl, thank you so much for sending in your story. I truly appreciate it for this Wine Wednesday segment. Now let's get on to our second story. Our second story is titled, "This is the time that my mom found out I was bisexual." We love that, period. Hey Dakota, this is the time my mother found out I was bisexual. Trigger warning, self-harm. Okay, so if you have anything that has to do with self-harm or anything like that, just go ahead and skip this video, watch my other ones, or just end it here. Let's continue. Growing up, my mom was always strict. She never really allowed us to have friends over or go to people's houses. That made me extremely extroverted. With my mom being strict, I wasn't allowed to have social media. My first phone was from my dad when I was about 12 years old. I was so obsessed with Snapchat, so I downloaded it even though I wasn't allowed to. When I was younger, I always knew that I had a love for not just men, but women. Some people would argue this would be because of the lack of men in my life. But it's not about that. I just love people. But anyway, I liked this girl at the time, so I went ahead and saved her name as Crush in my Snapchat. So my mom walked in my room and she said, "What are you doing?" And I had to lie and say I was watching Netflix, but in all actuality I was on Snapchat. She looks at me and says, "Give me your phone." And that is when I realized that she realized that I had Snapchat. That is the most terrifying thing in the whole entire world. Like, I remember when I was younger, because I'm an old bitch, MySpace was around and I was not allowed to have social media. Couldn't have MySpace. I think that was actually it besides Facebook. No, Facebook wasn't even around yet. I'm old. So MySpace was a thing and my mom like would not allow me to have social media. So I remember I did my MySpace and I put my picture, my profile picture, but I edited it so that way my face was like a little blurry and the color was red. That way people wouldn't recognize me. My brother ended up finding it and ratting me out because he's a fucking bitch, but like honestly it was just so funny because like I remember that like fear when my mom called me and she was calling me and yelling up to me about something that I did, and she goes, "And who said that you could have a MySpace?" And I tried to play it off like I don't have a MySpace. I think I even made my name like DVC on there, like Dakota. It was your initials. You couldn't be a little bit more clever. So when I just read that, my whole heart just went up because girl, like that is the most, or when your mom randomly comes in and is like, "Okay, let me check your MySpace, let me check your phone." Out of nowhere, no warning, it's like walking into a freaking history lesson and being like, "Okay, bitch, we're having a pop quiz." Like my mom used to do that shit to me all the time. So I would always be like super sneaky, and any text messages or any messages on Facebook that I didn't want her to see, I would always delete them right after. And then anytime that she would go onto my computer and look at all my messages or look on my phone, I would just pray. I'd be like, "My crush, do not message me, don't message me, don't message me, don't message me," or my friends, "Don't message me something stupid," because I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend either. Also, this is when she realized my crush was a girl. After that, she constantly made jokes about me liking girls, and she constantly called me clueless and confused. That is very fucked up. We're gonna get into that. This all eventually led me to self-harming. Because of the lack of support from my mother, it created a void that I could not fill with just positive thoughts and self-love. I needed a mother to love and support me, and I didn't have one. She hasn't changed one bit. I'm not self-harming anymore. I just want every parent to know that sexuality is uncontrollable. The way that you speak to your children reflects on how they view their self-worth. If I had a loving and supportive mother, I would have probably be in a much better place now. Because I understand not agreeing with it or not understanding it, but at the end of the day, your child is still your child regardless. Please, this is a message to all parents. Support your children and speak to them kindly. Teach them that although the world might not accept them as they are, you always will. Thank you for reading my story. Wow, I'm getting teary-eyed right now. I don't think I ever told you guys. I think I did in the video of I fought my best friend, I want to say. I think I did briefly touch on my story of like self-harm. I did used to self-harm for a brief period in my life when I was a teenager, and I kind of felt the same way that this subscriber does. I just felt like I didn't have anybody in my life that truly understood me. You know, growing up in my house, my mom and my stepdad would fight pretty often, and so because of that, I felt like she had so much going on. She was working, she was going to school. My stepdad was just honestly such an idiot and would just ruin just everything in the house. Like, he'd ruin the vibes, the energy. Like, nobody could ever like be happy about anything or enjoy anything. And so because of that, I would never bring my problems up to my mother because I felt like she just didn't have the time to listen to them. And I'm not saying that that was the case. It just is how I thought as a teenager. And a lot of times when the pressure would just get too heavy, I would self-harm and it would relieve some of the pain. I'm thankful that I got myself out of that and that I only did it for probably maybe like 4 months, I want to say, and then afterwards I never went back to it again. But I understand fully what you're going through, is that sometimes when the pain is just too big to bear, you have to find like some way to release it, because as kids we don't know what we don't know. So if you're not taught proper coping skills, proper ways to express negative energy, proper ways to express anger, we turn to things like alcohol, drugs, and self-harm. And my therapist was actually talking to me about this the other day, and she was saying that when we get these feelings and we're not properly taught how to disperse of them, that's what we do, is we turn to negative coping skills because we don't know what we don't know. And that's why I think what she said in this story is honestly so truthful, and it's such a message to parents that, number one, don't mock your children if they talk about their sexuality. If they choose to love a girl, if they choose to love a man, if they choose to love anybody, love is love. And you do not have kids because you want them to be like you. You have children with the knowing in the back of your mind that they're going to grow up and have their own personalities, their own likes, their own dislikes. If you have children because you want them to be who you want them to be and not have them have a mind or mentality for themselves, you're a very selfish person, and you need to seek help immediately, because that is not okay at all. That is not why you have children. You have children knowing damn well that they're going to go out into the world and they're going to make their own choices and they're going to do their own things, but you support them in that. And as long as they're not harming anybody, and as long as they're not doing anything bad, maybe you may not agree with it, but it doesn't mean that you need to ridicule them or tell them, like they did to my subscriber in this story, that they're confused. Don't tell them that they're clueless and make fun of them, because that is a horrible thing to do to somebody's self-image and self-worth and self-love. And this is why I come on here and I talk about this, because self-worth and love and confidence, right? I get so many questions on the daily about, Dakota, how do I fix my self-worth? How do I fix my self-love? How do I fix my self-confidence? But what a lot of people don't ask, because they don't know what they don't know, right, is, where did my lack of this come from? Because that's what you have to do. When you treat something, you're not just treating the symptom, you're treating the underlying issue that made the symptom come about. Nobody is born hating themselves. Nobody is born racist. Nobody is born, hating others. This happens because we have learned behavior from our parents. Our parents are our first teachers. Our parents, caregivers, and community. So that's like from school, that's from caregivers, that's from people who have authority, like guidance counselors, teachers, police, firemen, things of that nature. And we learn from them, and we learn how to unpack and organize our emotions of ourselves and of other people from our parents. That's why a lot of people who were like racist, they had racist parents growing up, and so up until the age of 18 they thought that that was normal. Now of course after that age, when you go out into the world and you see life for how it actually is supposed to be, and you get to meet new people and be in a different environment, you understand from that point forward, this is not normal. And you start having a personality and a mindset for your own, right? And then you go out there and you make better choices. You don't become the people who raised you to think this way. You become your own person. And then at that point, it's not excused anymore. I'm sorry. But after a certain age, it's like, if that's the way that you are, where you hate people because they love somebody else or they're a different skin color than you, you're just an asshole. You're just a fucking asshole and you need therapy. But honestly, in this situation, it's kind of like this. Like, we learn confidence and self-love from our parents. So if we have parents growing up who don't teach us those things, like right now what I'm currently doing with my daughters, I'm raising her to be super confident, right? We do affirmations daily. I always tell her how beautiful she is. If she ever comes home and is like, Mom, everybody in my class has straight hair and I have curly hair, I don't like it, I try to tell her that, being different is one of the most amazing things in the whole entire world, and that she should honor that. I will tell like my, parents, or like the parents of my daughter's friends, like, hey, when she comes over, do you mind complimenting her on her hair? That way she has this mindset of like, because sometimes when we hear things from our parents, we don't believe them. So like, sometimes like if our parents call us beautiful, it's like, oh, well, you have to say that because you're my mom, right? But like if somebody else says it, like our friends or our friends' parents, like we start to believe it because it's like, oh, it's coming from somebody else, So like I'll tell them, like, can you just tell her you like that she like her hair today, or can you tell her this or that? And it works, you guys. It makes her feel good and it makes her feel confident. And that's what we have to do as parents. But sometimes parents come from a broken childhood themselves, and they're trying to live their lives vicariously through us. So because they didn't get a chance of a good childhood growing up, they want to live their lives through us. So it's like, okay, my daughter's doing what I did, now I could be happy. That's why a lot of parents who were like cheerleaders or dancers or things like that want their daughters to be that as well, so they could live through them. And then when they don't do that, they're disappointed. And it's like, girl, this is her childhood, not yours, right? And that's why it's so important for parents who have had her upbringing to go to therapy and to like not raise broken children. Like we should not be raising children with a childhood that they have to recover from, right? That's not healthy and it's not right, and we should always want better for our kids. So I feel for you in this situation, because like you said, maybe if you had a mom that was actually emotionally there and taught you like how to love yourself and how to be confident and how to have self-worth and how to like just love yourself for who you are, because you deserve love. It doesn't matter who you love, whether it's a guy, whether it's a girl, whether it's anybody in this whole entire world, you are still deserving of love, which is why I absolutely refuse in my life to ever be friends or be around anybody who's homophobic. And that's why I'm not close with a lot of my family, because they are homophobic, and I have chose to not have anything to do with them and to cut ties. And a lot of people will say, oh well, Dakota, like you're straight, you're not gay, so why are you so offended? It doesn't matter. Other people around me are. I have friends who are, and I fucking love them. And even if nobody around me was gay or lesbian or transgender, I would still fight for that right for them to have, because the more that we be around people and co-sign their mess and condone this trashy behavior, the more that we normalize it in the world. It takes one person to make a change. And if I am around people who are homophobic, who are racist, etc., and although I don't agree with it, if I hang out with them and I'm around them, that's me enabling and co-signing their behavior, and I'm just as fucking bad. And honestly, you hit the nail on the head when you said how you speak to your children is a direct reflection of how they're going to feel about themselves and their self-worth, and that you may not understand their decisions, you may not understand their choices or what they choose to do with their life, but they're your children at the end of the day, and you need to support them. And when we have lack of support from our caregivers and our parents, like you said, it creates this like bottomless pit of a void that can't just be filled with positive affirmations or positive thought. You needed a mother who was fucking there for you and who loved you and who told you everything was going to be okay no matter who you loved, and that she took her judgment and her pride completely out of it and would just let you do what you wanted to do in terms of who you wanted to love. And listen, I feel like when I was growing up, that because like I said, my stepdad took up a lot of my mother's time and attention, and my dad was dealing with his alcoholism, and I was still as a child trying to find out who I was, and I was trying to find my identity, and I feel like I really just didn't have anybody. Like I was bullied a lot in school. The friends that I did have weren't like really my actual friends. I was an easy target, so they kind of just like wanted me around. And honestly, I can resonate so deeply with you when you say that you just needed somebody to fucking be there for you. And also another thing too is like this validation of privacy that we have with our kids by taking their phones, looking through them, looking through their emails, looking through their messages. It's like, I do think there needs to be a fine line, right? You definitely need to make sure your child is okay and not talking to like any predators or anything like that. But there also needs to be the line where it's like they can have privacy and they can talk to their friends and not have to worry about their parents coming in and checking their phones, or like going through diaries and things like that, or like walking into a room while you're changing and being like, oh, we all have the same parts. It's like, okay, but like I don't want to show you mine. Like that's weird. There has to be like these boundaries, right, between like mother and daughter especially. So I really feel for you, honey, and I really just want to express that I am so sorry that this is your life right now, and I'm so sorry that this is what you're going through, because by reading this I can tell that you are probably really young. You know what, actually I recognize your picture from this email. I believe you just turned 16 if I'm not mistaken, because I do follow you on Instagram. And I just want to say that I understand what you're going through. And here's the thing, right? It's so easy to tell somebody to cut off their parents or cut off their family, but when you have to rely on your parents for a shelter, and because you're not 18 yet, so you can't, just move out, you legally have to stay with somebody who's 18 or older, you have to do what you do day by day in order to just get by and make it through the day. So I'm so sorry that this is at this moment what you are going through, but I promise you, once you are old enough and you get out of this toxic environment, life is going to be so much freaking better. Life is going to be so much more bright, and you're going to breathe fresher air and realize that this is not how mothers are supposed to treat their daughters. And I promise you that day is coming. Hang in there. I'm always here if you need to talk, and I'm always here if you need honestly anything, because I know how hard it is to be growing up in an environment that you're like, oh my god, I can't wait until I'm 18 and I can move out. I can't wait until I can make my own choices and not be judged, not be ridiculed. I just can't wait to not be in toxicity and to breathe fresher air and actually live my life for who I am. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, and you can love whoever the fuck you want to love. There's such beauty in being different, which is why I try to tell my daughter when she's like, I don't like my hair, it's not straight. I'm like, girl, those girls are going to be so one day like, oh my god, I wish I had curly hair, right? And I always try to tell her, like, love your hair because it makes you different, and being different is amazing in this world. Who wants to be just like everybody else, right? So I love you so much. I am here for you. I am praying for you. Like I said, if you need anything, please let me know. I'm going to message you separately actually, but I really want to thank you for putting in this story, because I think that we all got a bigger picture out of this, which is like, just be kind to people, just treat people right. Your self-worth and your self-love and your confidence as an adult is directly linked to how you learned it as a child and how it came to be. And we just honestly need to treat our kids better and nicer and not project our insecurities or our plans or our thoughts or our dreams. And we need to stop living through our kids, okay? We had kids for them to come here and to heal this world in their own way, doing what they would like to do. We cannot have kids and be like, oh, you have to do this because mommy did this. My daughter does not want to step foot in a dance studio. Yeah, it crushed me a little bit because I thought that maybe she'd want to do dance, and I'd be like, oh my god, mommy did dance when she was younger. She doesn't want to do it. So guess what? I'm not making her fucking do it, because I am not having a child to make them into a little Dakota. Aubrey needs to be Aubrey and who she is. And if she doesn't want to do something, she doesn't have to fucking do it, point blank period. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I know that it was a little bit different, but honestly, I really enjoyed doing this series for Wine Wednesday. So if you also enjoyed me reading my subscribers' stories and telling them and reacting to them, please go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know if you enjoyed it, and also a thumbs up, because that actually really helps me decipher what videos you guys like and then what videos that you're not really feeling, and the ones that you like more, the ones that I'm like, okay, I need to do more of this for my subscribers. So please like, comment, subscribe. It is free. Please follow my personal development podcast, Sis Let's Heal. Follow me on all my social medias, always linked in the bio below. At the end of the day, just know that you are honestly such a beautiful person, that you are here for a reason. If you woke up this morning and you have air in your lungs and your limbs are still intact and you can get out of bed and you can walk outside and see the sun shining on your face, that God put you here for a reason, because you have a purpose, and you may be going through the biggest pain in your life right now. You be going through the biggest trial and testimony of your freaking life right now, but I promise there is purpose in your pain, and if you stick around, just stick around, I promise you life does get so much better, and life is such a beautiful thing. If you still have air in your lungs, it's because you are not done here, okay? It is not your time. You are meant to stay here to live a beautiful life. We are not sent here to struggle and to be miserable, but sometimes we do have to go through these hard times to get to where we need to be, so we can be appreciative of it and we can appreciate the beauty of life when we finally cross that bridge of healing and we see what life has to offer. I promise you, stick around, because life is beautiful. And if you are watching this video today and you are struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever the case may be, know that you are not alone. Know that I love you so much. Know that I'm here for you, and I'm rooting for you, and I'm praying for you, and please just stick around, because life gets so much better. You guys, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for just always being here for me and always just loving me and dealing with me with my inconsistencies and things of that nature. Like I say all the time, you guys are literally my family. You're my family, my best friends, my ride or dies, and I love you all so much. So thank you so much for allowing me to build this community and this platform to make videos like this, where we can talk about these, you know, topics that need to be talked about a lot more, honestly. Just thank you. I have nothing else left to say but thank you, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Isn't an option due to unusual rain and thunder. Baby, I wonder